Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jay's Really Good Dungeons & Dragons show. This is Jay, your GM. I use he, him. And this is the second episode of my Really Good Dungeons & Dragons show. I want to thank you for the amazing, overwhelming response to the first episode. Normally, I only get one view, but this time I received over 600 views. Honestly, this is very validating and life-affirming for me, and it's sending me into a mild existential crisis, but I'm trying to power through it. On today's episode, we are going to talk about classes in Dungeons & Dragons, but also I am going to try and take all of the feedback and criticism which I received in the first episode so that I can better improve this show to be even better and more amazing. I made the mistake of posting my previous video on Reddit to receive feedback, even though I did mention about the hurtful things that they can say, and they did say hurtful things. But I want to incorporate the hurtful words as improvement onto my content. So here is the comments advice. They're not sure if this is a serious attempt or not, but it contains bad advice and needs to be way more scripted to be of any use. Okay. Well, it is serious. It's very serious to me. Okay. Lines like, because I don't know, get us nowhere. That's fine. The way I was raised as a child was that if you don't know something, you should admit that you don't know. But apparently, according to the internet, I should always know everything and never admit when I don't know things. So from now on, I will never tell you when I don't know what I'm talking about. I will just lie to you all the time. That's what they want. Recommending that players don't need to know the rules because only dungeon masters need to know the rules is just bad. Okay. Players, you should know all the rules. Go do your homework. Right now. There are some good shows out there on how to play D&D. Yours was definitely not the first. I don't know how to fix that. Do you want me to go back in time? I can't. I'm sorry. Okay, with that being said, let's go on to my next piece of feedback. Jay, we really need some screen wipes, tinny music, and blown out graphics with colors slightly off register. I don't know why you want the music to be bad, and also why you want the graphics to be bad, and also I don't know what screen wipes are. So this is confusing advice. I can add music and graphics though. Here you go. I hope that you enjoyed that. As far as screen wipes go, I don't know why you want those. This comment is from famous internet influencer Zebashu. Why is he watching? Because internet influencer Zebashu wants this, I will do a screen wipe, even though I think it is some sort of internet fetish. I hope that was good for you, Zebashu. The next comment is, Jay, for your next video, please include the vor element. I did some online research about vor, and I have discovered what it is. It is a bad thing, and I don't think it should be done. By me or anyone. But I do want to be a successful D&D YouTube person. So, since you are one of my earliest followers, I will eat this worm. Like and subscribe. Now that I've incorporated all of the early recommendations of my previous video, let's get down to the meat of the episode. This time we're going to be talking about the Dungeons & Dragons classes. I think that the classes of Dungeons & Dragons are all very good, except for the ones that are bad. You may be thinking that you want to be a really tough and cool barbarian who does a lot of damage and also can take a lot of damage and be a tough guy. Please ignore my cat. Unfortunately, the barbarian in Dungeons & Dragons is not about doing a lot of damage. Instead, you have more hit points than God. You can take so many hits that it doesn't even matter anymore. This is a great class if you have attention deficit hyperactive disorder, because you can read your phone and take care of your children between turns because you don't have to worry about anything. Then there is the monk. The monk in Dungeons & Dragons is very good, except for that it's very bad. It can do 4 attacks on its turn, but those attacks are very weak and can't do any damage. Sometimes it has special abilities which allow it to do slightly more damage, but these don't matter, because they don't do enough damage to matter. You have to spend key points in order to use your signature abilities, and also every ability that you have. Because of this, you're always in short supply. And you need to have a high stat in 4 different stats of 16 or better, generally. So, good luck. It's not easy. You may be thinking that the rogue is a great option if you want to do a lot of damage at once and be a sneaky person. But honestly, probably a wizard is better at doing that because they can turn invisible, whereas a rogue cannot turn invisible. A rogue only has the power of sneaking in shadows and anime on their side, and so they will get caught eventually and die. But in the meantime, they will have a lot of fun doing sneak attack damage, which is not that much damage, honestly. If you want to do a high damage class, probably Paladin is better. Paladin in Dungeons & Dragons is a great class because it has a lot of armor and it can do a lot of damage. So it can do the tanking that you wanted in Barbarian without having so many hit points that it makes damage irrelevant. And also it can do the high damage you wanted in Rogue without, being boring. The wizard is a really boring class, but it has a lot of amazing spells. Because it has so many amazing spells, they were scared to give it any class features, and so all the class features are really boring and make you want to go to sleep. If you find playing a wizard intimidating, you can play the sorcerer instead. It has a lot less options, so you won't have to be overwhelmed by all those amazing choices that the wizard gets to make. Instead, you will have very few choices, and you will always be stressed out because you won't know if you pick the right spells for the right situation, and you have so few spell picks that it will become increasingly anxiety-inducing. You will scream and cry. Playing the Artificer is great if you don't like skill checks, because Artificer can always succeed on skill checks every single time. They have expertise and they also have Flash of Genius, which means that skill checks are trivially unimportant, and so it is irrelevant at this point in the game. Your DM might as well not even give you skill checks anymore because you are going to succeed on all of them. So an Artificer is really good if you don't like your Dungeon Master. Playing a bard is amazing because the bard has this very sneaky trick, which is that it gets access to the wizard's spell list, so it can pick a lot of amazing spells that your dungeon master is not prepared for. Another cool thing about the bard is that because it is allowed to sing, it can experience joy more often than other classes. The Warlock is a great class if you want to be a spellcaster, but you also don't want to be a spellcaster. It only casts spells 2 times, and then it's out of spells. That's very relatable in 2020. I also can only do 2 things per day, and then I need a nap. Druids are also a really good class. You can use them to turn into beasts and also cast conjuration spells. Conjuration spells as a dungeon master are not very fun at all, because you will have to go into your tokens or your miniatures and pull out a bunch of animals every week, and it takes up a lot of time, and everybody gets really frustrated at you because you're not doing a very good job getting these miniatures on the table fast enough, and everybody's wishing that you would hurry up. And also the druid feels sorry for casting this spell, and the anxiety at the table really starts to spike, and everybody gets uncomfortable, and the whole evening is ruined, and it's all because the druid has these spells, and I don't know how to fix this. If you know how to fix this, let me know. The cleric is a great class because wizards thought nobody wanted to be a cleric, so they made the clerics really strong. They have the high armor class of a fighter, but they have the full spellcasting of a wizard, and they have a bunch of non-concentration, high damage spells, as well as bonus action spells. Because of this, the cleric is a whirlwind of death that will destroy every encounter that you carefully crafted, and make every single event much harder for you as the dungeon master. And that is all the classes in Dungeons & Dragons. Thank you so much for tuning in for the second video of my really good Dungeons & Dragons show. I hope that after incorporating all of the advice that I received on the first episode, now I have finally produced the perfect Dungeons & Dragons show that even Matthew Critical Role would be really proud to be a part of. If you ever want to be on the show, just let me know. My DMs are always open. Thank you very much, Matthew Critical Role. I would appreciate if you would leave a comment and ask any questions that you have about Dungeons & Dragons below so that I can continue to farm your opinions and advice for content. If you will, please like, subscribe, and also follow me. Find my MySpace and follow me there. I miss it. Oh shit, the Ranger.